your safe return to the Lodge will please the other members of Constellation. Human understanding of physics has until now shown no indication that such a thing is possible, and yet, we have now encountered two individuals physiologically identical to unique humans we already know, possessing knowledge and technology that it seems improbable for them to otherwise have. It is indeed possible that they are telling the truth, that this unity does exist. More data is required. Practically speaking, it is entirely possible to duplicate my memory banks and replicate my functionality in another Model A unit. I would recommend speaking to Mr. Stroud about the costs of such a venture. Return soon.
Let me guess. You missed me. Don't stay away too long.
Mateo told us about your pilgrim's voyage.
You found it, didn't you? The meaning of unity. Wait, say that again? Multiple universes?
You can't possibly mean what I think you mean.
Let's take a step back. This is everything we've been building towards, and the implications are a lot to take in. Could you explain the part about multiple universes one more time for everyone?
Yes, I wouldn't mind a little more detail.
And that's why the Starborn want the artifacts so desperately. They're the keys to unlocking the infinite.
I don't even want to think about the physiological changes you'd need to travel between universes.
Plus what it would do to the mind? Enlightenment? Or oblivion? Like the Hunter.
You have the opportunity to reach the closest thing to your god that might exist. And you're second-guessing it?
One doesn't approach the afterlife without some trepidation. You're right. We have to see the unity for ourselves.
I know this has been a lot for everyone to take in, but we finally have answers. Let's make the best of them.
Not to make a sharp turn in a grand tale, but I got the eye fixed up. Bruised, but still blinking. Let me know when you're ready to follow up on what it's seen. These last glimpses from the eye are from the farthest fringes of known space. Could be the only remaining pieces outside the hands of the Starborn. Aye. The blackest sea seems less of a concern when there are sharks leaping out at you. Catch a smile out there. Oh, sorry. Was doing the tally's work in my head. Inventory on the station, next supply run. Keep coming back to one thing. Both of these Starborn, they're people you know. Only they're not the people you know. Say and do things the folks you know would never. Doesn't bode well for anyone stepping into the Unity. Or through it, or however it works. You consider what it might do to you? Experience shapes the person, as much as the other way. And the Unity sounds like an experience with an endless depth, with no hope to fathom. I doubt any declaration of intent will carry fate's hand there. Sorry, haven't catch the glint of one yet.
Yes?
We've always considered ourselves explorers, but this really is uncharted territory, isn't it?
In the end, you chose the UC over the Crimson Fleet. Do you believe that was the right choice? A very pragmatic choice. Self-preservation is always a good motivator. Did getting that close to Delgado and the fleet make it difficult at all? It can be harder to act against someone once you get to know them. Nor do I think you should be, but in this case, I believe you made the right call. They were pirates, after all. It would be foolish to think, though, that we have seen the last of the Crimson Fleet. We may have eliminated the leadership, but there are many more pirates out there. That is true. Life has not suddenly been made easier for everyone, despite our recent victory. For now, you should enjoy your hard-earned victory. You have done a service for all of the settled systems. Back to it, then.
Spend so much time looking at the scans. I can see star systems orbiting in my head.
What did you want to talk about? Well, there's no other people my age here at the lodge, so it's going to be kind of tough. Actually, Noelle is pretty nice. She said she'd teach me some stuff about science. You know, pick up where my mom left off. Besides that, I don't really care if I make friends or not. You and Sarah are the only friends I'll ever really need. Yeah, a little bit. That planet was the only real home that I ever knew. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it feels like I've left my family behind. It was a really tough decision to make. But you and Sarah were right. I had to move on with my life. And hey, one day when I'm old enough, I could always go back for a visit. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it in all my life. Not even in Mom's picture slates. It's almost like a fairy tale. Like it's not real, you know? I'm sure that sounds pretty dumb to you. But hey, I lived in a house made from busted up spaceship parts and trees. I don't know if I'll ever get used to being around all these people. Everyone hurrying around, talking, eating, drinking, doing a million things. It's so weird, but kind of exciting at the same time, you know? Going from a planet with a population of 3 to this one is going to take a lot of patience and trust, that's for sure. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
This is all exciting, but there's really a lot of pressure on us, isn't there? We have to get this right. I thought I had a grip on the situation. I'm not so sure anymore. The Sanctum Universum believes that God wanted us to travel the stars. That's gotten us here. Is this... Could this be the next step in that journey? Is this what we were meant to learn out here? Could the unity... Could that be God? Or a way to reach him? After everything we've discovered, everything we've been through, everything we've lost, I can't help but wonder where this all leads. It's all gotta mean something. The one thing I'm sure of is that we have to see this through. We need to find the rest of the artifacts. Take care of yourself.
Hope my employees don't give you too much trouble. Counter to everything I've said and believed before, I've caught myself wondering if we ever should have started this search. If this is all true, and I have it right, we've potentially started a chain of events that will create more of these Starborn. Or worse, enable the ones we've seen to become even stronger. I am not fond of either of those options. So maybe now we have no choice but to finish this journey before one of them does. Does it even work like that? This is enough to make your head spin. Look, I don't like the idea of siding with either one of these groups. I'd much rather see someone from Constellation get there first. I trust any of us far more than these Starborn. You're doing Constellation proud.
Captain, hello again. I was uncertain you would return.
Need some work? Anything I can help you with? Looks to me like you're already in pretty good shape. Okay, no problem.
it's at.
So we know the answer. Who are the Starborn? Well, we are. We're some cracked mirror version of ourselves. The whole thing seems unreal. Yeah. Who's keeping track? You know, yeah, +1 for Team Sam. I was hoping the Starborn were somehow so advanced that their concerns were cosmic, significant. Instead, they're fighting over goddamn toys like we've been doing since caveman times. It's just a stupid game to them. And all our deaths and suffering, now relevant. And they seem to be just as messed up as the rest of us. So the Unity is a gateway. A gateway to countless possibilities. And you have a chance to go through it. Imagine. I'd be lying if it doesn't sound like the adventure of a lifetime. I don't know if you're taking anyone with you. But if you take me, I got no idea if I'd go through or not. If it weren't for Cora, I'd jump on it in a heartbeat. Cora would probably shove both of us out of the way and dive in first. Born explorer, that girl. That's good. I know it's your decision who to work with, but you gotta remember that the Hunter murdered our friend. Sure, the emissary may be a version of Barrett, but he's not our Barrett. But that doesn't make what the Hunter did right, not by a long shot. If the Starborn are party crashers from different universes, I'd side with the one that's not willing to murder innocents to win. Me neither. My head is still spinning. Maybe after a few nights' sleep, it'll be clearer. Take care.
Did you need something? So, we finally have all the answers. And yet here I stand, feeling like I understand even less than I did before. This talk of the unity of a multiverse? Dead friends appearing again? It is all simply too much. Does it? Perhaps you find all this satisfactory, but I am afraid I do not. We must take the word of a murderer and follow him into the Unity? What if it does nothing the Starborn have claimed? So you would just step into this unity based on what? Feelings? You have no idea what will happen if you do. None at all. Even if everything the Starborn have said is true, if you pass into this unity and come out in some other universe, look at who they are, and what they have become. They have the faces and voices of people you know, but are nothing like them. Are you not at all worried that the same fate would befall you? That you would become someone unrecognizable to the rest of us? Now you sound like Sarah. But you are not wrong. I will do my best to assume the best, but you cannot blame me for preparing for the worst. We should get back to it. Now that we know what to work towards, there's no time to waste.
Any troubles you need to share? Forgive me for pulling you aside again, but, well, there's so much to process right now. The emissary, the hunter, the unity, an entire multiverse. I can't even begin to wrap my head around it all. I don't know where to begin. The fact that we are the origin of the Starborn. Humans literally reborn by entering the Unity. The same, yet different. It's unbelievable. I feel like most of the knowledge we've amassed in the last few centuries about the universe has just been made obsolete. Oh goodness. Almost every facet of science. Astrophysics, physiology, evolutionism, grav theory, the list goes on and on. There are areas of study that will need to change, and some basic rules of science that will need to be completely blown up and reinvented. Perhaps I'm overreacting, but you can't deny there will be more than a few textbook chapters that need to be rewritten. We've been pushing further and further outwards from our home, when we should have spent more time being prepared for the consequences. Our current problem relates closely to the nature of humans as a species. This rushed curiosity has led us to enter the Unity and become Starborn. It certainly is. Without curiosity, our motivation to explore would vanish. But in this case, there's a difference between exploring the cosmos and blindly entering the unknown without being prepared for the consequences. But it has made a difference. Here we are, caught in the middle of some sort of needlessly violent crusade between the hunter and the emissary. You'd think that a technologically advanced society would have evolved past petty squabbling over something like the artifacts. It almost makes me wonder if entering the Unity has done them more harm than good. Oh, absolutely. Their arrival in our universe is much too timely to be for any other reason. It's also clear that the need to collect these artifacts are an obsession for them, almost bordering on an addiction. That leads me to wonder what the Unity has done to their minds and their souls. Yes, I agree, but not at the expense of erasing our own existence. When you pass into whatever lies beyond, we don't know what will become of you. Will you remember your life as you knew it? Will the hunger to collect the artifacts consume your life like it's clearly consumed the Starborn? Of course not. I am, and always will be, an explorer at heart. My concern is how fundamental the change will be to ourselves as people. We don't even know if you'll remember anything about this conversation. I'm worried what that will mean between us. I'm just as curious to find out what's on the other side as well, but that's not the point. As the chair of Constellation, I want all of us to have this opportunity to explore the Unity. It would be the pinnacle exploration of our lives. However, after we enter the Unity, we'll likely evolve. You and I, as we stand here right now, will essentially cease to exist. The honest truth is that, well, you're the love of my life, and I can't bear to lose you. I'm not sure. I'm guessing based on what we've learned. Even if I accompany you into the Unity, the question still remains. Would we know each other anymore? Even if we did, would we care? Part of what I do as chair of Constellation is weigh the costs of our expeditions. And this one, the cost is extremely high. I do love you. That's why this decision is tearing me apart. Listen. I realize nothing that I say is ever going to change your mind or diminish the enticement of this incredible opportunity. All I ask is that you research the facts before you blindly stumble off into the unknown. I don't know if I'm ready to make that leap, but knowing we'd be doing it hand in hand would certainly make it more comforting. Well, I suppose I've ruined the moment again, haven't I? I'm getting quite good at that lately. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Just think what we discussed. I know I will.
transport liner wanting to alert you about hostiles in the system. No, it gave our passengers a bit of a scare, but the ship's A-okay. You and me both. Us friendlies have got to watch each other's backs out here. Safe travels, stranger.
Transmitting coordinates on Carides 3. End of message. Origin detected. Designated outsider. This is an undisclosed secret location. Please identify purpose or depart. Outsider is not part of plan. End of inquiry. Acknowledging receipt of emergency request. Explanation deemed acceptable. Clearance granted to Crucible. Outsider will deliver 150 units of copper. Compensation will be dispensed.
Tobias, stand down. We have a visitor.
Reminder, deliver required material. End of conversation.
This is incredible. For so long we hoped for any visit, and the day has finally arrived. Oh dear, that's a surprisingly tricky question. I'm probably not the person to answer it, but it is a genuine pleasure to meet you. I wish it were even better. Your arrival is truly an historic one, but many fear what it portends. The societies have closed their doors and are arguing about what to do, while the rest hide to see which way the wind blows. Franklin would know what to do. He's the oldest among us. You should talk with him. Most of us are like me, free and unaligned. But there are three societies that are oft at odds with one another. The Believers, the Pragmatists, and the Renegades. It would be wise to meet each of them. Franklin leads the Pragmatists. Crucible is a tinderbox, and any spark will set it off. We're still recovering from a deadly conflict that happened 3 years ago. Far fewer of us are here to greet you today because of it. Give it time, and I'm sure the others will come out. For curiosity's sake, if nothing else.
When your ship landed, I feared the robots would shoot you on sight. I am greatly relieved that they let you enter our community, but you come during a delicate time. Everyone will seek to use your arrival to further their own ends. You ask a question you already know the answer to. Yes, of course, I have need of you. But if you have a good heart and a quick mind, I am sure you will see my point of view. No, we most certainly do not. Our relationship with them is a matter of some debate. Where to begin? Maybe an introduction? I am Franklin Delano Roosevelt, leader of the Pragmatist Society. Well, it is gratifying that even after all these years, my name isn't entirely forgot. You see, I was an American president. Well, not literally, but in a sense I was. Everyone that lives here are clones. Some of us are clones of the greatest figures of history, and others, well, we don't rightly know. When we die, and some of us die quite often, we are brought back. I cannot imagine how strange this must sound to an outsider. Not at all. I have had occasion to see death more than anyone. When someone dies, all they have accomplished here in Crucible, all of their deeds, thoughts, are gone. And when they come back, they are different, modified. The believers say they are improved. Being reborn can take years, sometimes over a decade. But everyone comes back. Now, there is the question, isn't it? I do not have FDR's memories, but I know every nuance of his life and times. Well, as much as history records. I confess, I feel an undeniable affinity towards him. But no, I am my own man, but not all of us see it that way. Well, to us, it's just the way things are. After decades, centuries, of trying to figure it out ourselves, there is so very much we don't know either. The robots clone us for a reason, their so-called mission. But what that is, and what we should do about it, is something the societies disagree about. Sometimes violently. It's best you meet with the other societies, and after, I promise I'll explain the pragmatist's position on matters. Well, it is one of the few concrete things we know about Crucible. If you want to truly know about the mission, the believers will tell you all about it. In fact, it can be hard to get them to stop talking about it. After you meet with them, I'll share my position. Be careful what you wish for. Word has been sent, so the street should be full again. There is more I would talk with you about, but I would not take advantage of your ignorance. Go speak with Amon Irenas and Genghis Khan.
I hope your arrival doesn't mean more violence.
I just wish the societies could get along.
I had hoped you would visit me. Good. Know that you stand before Queen Amon Irenas of the Kush, queen of a dead kingdom on a dead world. But I earned my name, and even the sands of time cannot take it from me. In truly ancient times, my land lay south of Egypt, a harsh country. History is enamored of my contemporary Cleopatra.
But she would have withered and died had she tried to rule my land. Your courtesy is appreciated, even though it rings hollow. My subjects are all dust. If you don't believe me, know you are not alone. Some clones deride me behind my back. I know this, but I feel in my bones that I am a Manirinas for true. The great and the terrible to those who would oppose me. I remember things no one has told me. Memories of faces, betrayers, lovers, allies, and enemies. And the smells. The right scent. And I close my eyes. And I can picture all of it so vividly. It aches my heart. My home. My kingdom. Have you no faith of your own? Something you hold to, even though it cannot be proven. It is the same with me. But I am certain. You speak to a Manirinas, reborn. If your mind and heart remain open, you will see the truth of it. Once, I called upon mighty armies. However, on Crucible I still lead. Have you heard of the believers? Have you heard of the mission? We are the ones who will take our rightful place in these settled systems to bring in a new glorious age and break the endless cycles of oppression and greed. You are skeptical. My advisors thought the same when Augustus Caesar stood unbeatable at Cush's border. I made war against the mighty Romans. I took their cities and fought them to a draw. No other king or queen can boast of that honor against that famed Roman. And that's just me. Some of the greatest lions of all ages are awaiting rebirth. What are bureaucrats, petty politicians, and lawyers against that? So many scoff at the mission. Before we are reborn here, there are words all of us are told. That we are the chosen. We are meant to better ourselves. To learn, grow, and thrive. All of us represent the greatest figures in our history. Who better to lead the settled systems to a new golden age? If we could do it ourselves, we would have. Years ago. I do not care if you think my plan is insane. But what I want, what we want, is a chance to prove to the facility we are ready. When someone has achieved their potential, the facility is supposed to set us free among the stars. But the machines have been breaking more and more over the years. And no one has ever been deemed worthy. I need your help to properly fix the facility so that we can prove ourselves and claim our birthright. The facility is another place on this very planet. A place we cannot go. As much as we dream of it. Surely someone, anyone by now would have learned the lessons the facility sought to teach. No, the machines have not aged well. The crises break upon our beach, each one greater than the last. I need you to go to the facility. The robots and what drives them is not here. The facility is where they come from. Somewhere far to the east. None of us can travel there. But you can. Go there, please. And see if the facility can be repaired. Then report back to me.
Weapons out! They come! There will be blood! The man from the stars. Come to see me. And you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. I guess the world out there is not so different than here. Genghis Khan, a pleasure to meet you. Then don't believe it. It is true his blood runs through my veins. But I am not he. Crucible tries to imprint the clones with fake memories. Genghis predated the Mongols having written records. For being so great a figure, we know practically nothing about him. When was he born? How he died? Where he was buried? A single speech he gave? Nothing. It must have driven the robots mad, trying to figure out what to do with me. Manners cost me nothing. But make no mistake, I will do whatever it takes to escape this prison. I am pleased that the dangers out here are of no concern to you. You cannot be fully human if you trap yourself behind walls. I would provide fresh meat for my society, so we don't get fat off the robots. Franklin and I see eye to eye on very little, but even he appreciates this. And I always hope to see some means of escape. Perhaps our luck has finally changed. The novelty will fade. I say this from experience. So Franklin told you of us. Oh, that we're clones? Some of us think that makes us special. That the deeds of our namesakes are somehow ours. But that is blind arrogance. We are just people. Same as you. Same as anyone. None at all. It is as if I were a student of his life and times from an early age. I know so much about him, but that doesn't mean I am him. I am me, and I am content with this. Would it? You would know better than I. But all this talk gets us nowhere. Too many of the others grovel at the feet of the damned robots, trying to play their roles in a broken game. The renegades will not submit, and one day, we will be free. I do not know. Everything outside of Crucible is unknown to us. I imagine the settled systems are not so settled that a man who does not shrink from violence can't make a place for himself, though. A prison of the mind and the body. Crucible holds out a throne and says, "Obey, and it is yours." But thrones are meant to be taken, not handed to you by a machine. But it is a tantalizing lie that keeps the others in line. Were it that easy, I have died a dozen deaths trying to find a way out of Crucible. You get too far or disobey too much, then death. Crucible holds our lives in its hands. But now, the robots have made a grave mistake. You can go where none of us can. You hold our future in your hands, and all the societies know it. Oh yes, you can go 1 or 2 miles from Crucible, and you drop dead. I have no knowledge of medicine, but it's probably poison. It boils my blood to be subjugated like this. But too many of the clones are sheep. As long as their pens are clean and comfortable, they bleat their arguments. Even if you think I deserve this cage, does everyone? If you want your heartstrings tugged, talk to Amelia Earhart. Doesn't she deserve the stars she craves? You know of the facility, yes? Go there and make the machines let us leave. It is not much to ask, and it will set us free.
The pragmatists are the only ones.
Welcome to town, stranger. Consider me part of the welcoming committee. The name's Wyatt Earp, and I'd be most pleased if you'd use one of the spare rooms during your stay. For a modest fee, of course. Oh, I'm not all that. Just had the good fortune to receive some good publicity. But to the matter at hand, I'm more than a humble innkeep. I do the best I can to uphold the law, but the societies make that difficult. I expect I've had as much success restraining Genghis as the Chinese did. I do what I can. Roosevelt and I are both of the same mind on that.
Inevitably prove they are
I'm for whatever side wants to keep the peace. It means that the pragmatists and I are often on the same side of things, but you might be surprised the number of times I've had to ask some of them to back off some nonsense. That's a generous offer. I might take you up on it. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay. And by the by, I may have access to some essentials I've picked up over the years. Happy to sell them to you. It runs hot and cold. During usual times, it's an occasional scuffle, maybe a black eye when an argument gets out of hand, and then a society goes on a rampage and it's tombstone all over. I hope your arrival keeps things on an even keel. At once. I have been known to rent rooms to those in need. You looking for a short-term rental or longer? Room's yours for the week, then.
mission is a lie. But we have a chance to build a real life here.
You actually came from space.
If you had a life sentence, wouldn't you do...
Anything to be
experiment
free?
Crucible was designed for. We need to escape.
Change is coming. I can feel it.
I need to go out there. I want to see it do everything there is to be done. Your ship, she's a beauty. It travels the stars, right? Tell me, what's it like out there? I don't know if that's flattery or curiosity. My name's Amelia Earhart. When I first woke up in this place, in my head, I knew all about my namesake, her life and her accomplishments. But I also knew how to fly a starship, reactor limits, thrust acceleration vectors and everything. In my mind's eye, I can imagine flying out there, touching heaven itself. And yet, cruelly, here I sit. The facility keeps us alive, fed and protected, but they do a terrible job of informing us of anything at all. My guess is the facility thought they might need a pilot one day, but your guess is as good as mine. Funny, some of us have had the same thought about you. Listen, I know you owe me nothing at all, but I would do anything to get off of here. I know the societies want who knows what from you for who knows why, and I don't want to get involved in any politics. I just want, for my single self, a chance to explore. I'd happily earn my way. Like I said, a lot of spacefaring know-how has been put in my head. Let's put it to good use, right? You won't regret it. Thanks. Do you want to talk about anything else? I have a few choice, unchristian thoughts about some of them, but I'm going to stay out of it. Listen, I'd understand you making any decision you have to regarding them. Any at all. I just hope you judge me separate. I don't wish harm on anyone. I just want to explore. No, I don't. I consider myself a most ardent admirer of hers. She feels like family. Distant family. I like to think we both share a kindred spirit of adventure, though. She broke so many barriers in her life. I would love the same opportunity one day.
But if they all fail?
Then we will most likely die. All of us.
Thanks for your time.
Is that what you want to hear?
You're the most
Is
exciting
that all you have
thing
to
that's
say?
happened.
That's why our aims are so important. We need to learn how to do things for ourselves. How to defend, how to produce power, how to fix the plumbing, for God's sake.
I would kill for a new slate. Of anything at all.
So, you have heard from the other societies. I must confess I'm very curious what an outsider thought of them, and their positions. You might be the first objectively neutral party we've ever come across. It takes more than a great person to achieve great things. Their traits need to match the circumstances. I fear we would be ill-equipped to do anything except sow chaos. The facility has gathered some of the most obstinate and dangerous personages throughout history. It has told them that they should lead in a golden age via whatever means they see appropriate. Setting us all loose, Sparta as a whole, would invite disaster. We are barely fit to lead ourselves. The most likely case is anyone that leaves Crucible would die or silently fail. But if the mission is correct, and they do take over the settled systems, in the course of history, it took millennia to cast out petty tyrants. The way ahead lies not looking to the past to literally guide us, but for this generation to learn from us. Terrible and great figures we represent had their time. We made the most of it. We should be at peace with it. A tough but fair question. I must admit the case of Amelia Earhart sometimes keeps me up at night. 'Tis safer if the rule is strict, but if you wanted to make an exception or two, I could live with that. But no one from the other societies. They are all dangerous in their own way. Certainly. It is evident that the facility is decaying. It is both unsustainable and unwise for us to fix and maintain the status quo. Our community must be weaned off the machines, learn how to build, grow, and govern ourselves, allowed to raise families so we can pass our lessons to the next generation, and to die when our allotted time is finished. One day we will be worthy of going to the stars. We are just not there yet. Do not listen to passion. Genghis can be very persuasive, but he's a fool. In some sense, we are an abomination. A science project made for unknown ends and with uncertain results. Once we are fully human, fully self-reliant, then we should be allowed to join the settled systems. Yes, and not to be indelicate, not for lack of trying. Are we even human in this state? We have no future, only the past. Please, I beg you, listen, look, and think. Who are these people, and what would they do? I hope, for all our sake, you will come to see the light.
Over here! Hey, we need to talk. Listen, it's not safe to talk here. It's about Roosevelt. There's something you need to know. Not here, if he found out I'm even talking to you about this? Thank you. There's a, well, cave just outside town. No chance of us being listened in on. Please, come as quick as you can. Ideally, before you go to the facility.
Evidently prove they are untrustworthy.
I just wish you'd answer straight once in a while.
I hope so. I'll meet you at the cave. You came. I just can't take a chance. These clones, they're psychotic, crazy. If they find out, I'm sorry. I just can't take the chance. You're just making it worse. I'm not Wyatt Earp. I wish. God, how I wish I was. I was cloned off a monster. America's first serial killer, H.H. Holmes. He was a deranged lunatic on old Earth. In the 1890s, he owned a hotel. He'd lure people there in this crazy hotel with all sorts of terrible rooms. But I'm not him. You gotta believe me. It's like a living nightmare. If you go to the facility, I know you'd find out who I am. And if you let any of these bloodthirsty maniacs know, they'd kill me. But no, that wouldn't be the end. Every time my new clone would appear, death, torture, pure hell. I'm afraid it's you or me. I'm going to kill you. I really, really don't. Besides Ada and maybe Amelia, you're the nicest person I've met. But the other clones, they would tear me apart. Don't you see? They're the monsters. I just don't want to be tortured like that. Please, please forgive me. A few of the old-timers know I used to go by Bill Hickok. I mean, I had to make up a story. I always used to read the dime novels, and I figured I knew enough about Wild Bill and Wyatt to pull it off. I just had no way of knowing what my previous life had picked. So I played dumb. But Roosevelt is a crafty one. I just don't see a way out. I don't want to die. I can wish it a million times, but it don't make it so. I want to believe you. I do. Do you think I'm doing this on a whim? I've got no other choice. I don't want to do this. Goodbye. For both of us.
Genghis and the renegades will be the death of us, unless we stand firm. What? Wait. I know that name. He was infamous. I've been working with Wyatt for years. What happened to him? In his former lives, he claimed to be other people. Bill Hickok, the time before. I thought, well, that the facility was experimenting with him, changing his identity. Now I see he was just afraid. A sadly reasonable response to his situation. He must have been desperate to try something so patently absurd. I suppose we never truly know what's going on in someone else's head. I'll just tell the others that Wyatt had an accident. A fatal one. Best we don't talk of this again. My feelings about my namesake are complicated. He was a great but flawed human being. On one hand, he guided a country through the ravages of depression and war admirably. He tirelessly fought to improve the lives of the poor and disadvantaged. But as a husband, he was unfaithful. And as a colleague, he was a consummate politician, which is sometimes good, often distasteful. He was truly a great man, and I must confess, I am proud to share his heritage. We are unnaturally dependent on the machines of the facility for every aspect of our society. The pragmatists seek to take the reins of power ourselves. We will cultivate, work, and govern for ourselves. Perhaps, once we have demonstrated that we can govern ourselves well, we can try and bring our leadership to the settled systems. But to do so too early, I fear, courts disaster. We are not 100% sure, but I have a theory. The facility has been unreliable as long as I've been alive. My guess is that they are historical figures that just didn't get a proper education. Who's to say what Julius Caesar actually looked like? Or some modern person of note that we wouldn't even know about? Whoever they are, though, they are as smart and capable as the ones that know their identity. I guess we're done.
One of the predators nailed Wyatt. Fool should have stayed inside the walls.
We are all prisoners. Just not all of us can see the bars. Without fail and without mercy, if we go too far, our lives end. Even the most devout believer drops like a stone a little over a mile out. I know this because we have tried it. Many look at Crucible like it is holy or a potential utopia. But the renegades see it truly. It is hell, and it is our prison. We are the only ones that just want to tear it all down and leave. The mission, the facility, all of it are lies. We deserve a chance to really live. I have no doubt many of us will perish, or be swallowed up by the settled systems with little to show of it. But I just want the chance that every human is born with. You ask a question I cannot answer to your satisfaction. It is far to the east. It is where all the machines come from. Beyond that, mystery.
I just wish the societies could get along.
I hope your arrival doesn't mean more violence.
Your arrival is a sign from the gods. There are robots here, but they are not constructed here. The clones also are not born here. The robots bring fresh clones always from the east. That is where their facility lies. And that's it. I know no more. We are the ones who believe in the mission. We are the great minds and leaders of history who can bring about a new golden age. Our numbers are admittedly few, but we make up for it in our commitment to see the dream of Crucible realized. We just want the machines fixed, so we can pass the test and be allowed to leave Crucible and try to make a difference. I am her reborn. Many here scoff at reincarnation, but why? It has been a belief of people from the earliest of times. Why is it so unimaginable it can happen? When I dream, I smell the sands of Africa. I see the vaunted Roman legions with their prickly spear walls, and I see and taste the blood, both ours and theirs. I am Queen Amanirinas, and I am she who even the conquerors fear. Roosevelt and the pragmatists vex us. True, they do help us try and maintain the facility, but they deny the mission. Such hubris. We were sent here for a reason. Why can't they see that? And Genghis and the renegades are little more than brigands spoiling for a fight. They would destroy everything if it meant they could be unleashed on the galaxy. Clearly, none of them will ever reach their potential. Until we meet again.
I need to go out there. I want to see and do everything there is to be done.
It is still hard to accept a stranger in our midst. Let me see. You have no idea what a reassurance it is to learn even these hints of our past. It sounds like the facility is in ruins, but perhaps the restricted section is intact? Think of the answers it must contain, and perhaps a way to help us become self-sufficient. But there is no security override code here. I would know. Think. To think that Crucible was not our first home, and Genghis Khan destroyed it. I have told people time and time again that the renegade will be the death of us all, and they already were once. The only thing clear to me is despite the facility's efforts, we haven't grown at all. Embarrassingly so. And most are too busy jockeying for position to delve behind the thin lies the facility told them. We all assumed that we arrived via spaceship. But knowing we did, and knowing it was called the Galathea, it sates a need I did not know I even had. Galathea's sister ship. Yes, if it can be found. Certainly, they had the capability of going into the heart of the facility. If anyone can figure a manner of locating the Beagle, it's Ada Lovelace. I'll radio her and explain the situation. I'm sure she will make every effort to assist.
The others would defile the facility. Please, outsider.
So we did
Consider
come
the
from a
mission and what it
spaceship.
could mean
Of
for the
course we
galaxy.
did. And there's another out there? What was the Beagle? Why did she and the Galathea part? But all of that in time. First, we must find her. She's not in this star system. I would have spotted her. I've studied the celestial bodies for years. No trace of a spaceship in orbit here or around the other planets. The radio telescope! It has a default position. It resets every morning. I always wondered, why point at Bell 5? Petty frustration I've dealt with for years. Perhaps the facility looks for her sister. Yes! Yes, it makes sense. I can send you the coordinates. The Bell Star system is not far. The facility communicates via a secure frequency. When you arrive, tune into that.
is up.